Trump said on this video that he likes kissing pretty women and that...
You don't?
Sir, can I finish?
You like kissing ugly women?
Excuse me. Can I finish my statement, please? Thank you, I don't appreciate that.
What happened when President Biden had that infamous debate with President Trump? It exposed the reality that many of us have known for a long time, which is that President Biden has not been the guy calling the shots. It is this cabal of the Democrat elite, woke warmongers, the likes of Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Tony Blinken, Jake Sullivan, people who are in the military-industrial complex, people who profit from us being in a constant state of war, in the administrative state, in the national security state, derive more authorities and ability to take away liberty when we are in a heightened state of crisis or war. They're friends and billionaires and people in media who all derive their power from being able to have a figurehead that essentially they can control.
Donald Trump gets back into the White House. He's going to fire civil servants like intelligence officers.
We're going to fire them.
Engineers.
We're going to fire them.
And even federal prosecutors.
You're fired.
If he decides that they don't serve his personal agenda.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
You know, Wolf, the word that everybody is using to describe tonight is bittersweet. It's just bitter. The fact of the matter, I'm not saying Joe Biden is bitter, but, you know, it's like you've been thrown out a window, and as you're falling, you go, gee, it's nice out here. No, he got thrown out of a window, and basically he was forced. You know, there's going to be a lot of talk tonight about how generous it was of him and selfless of him. He was basically forced out by Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama and Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. And I suspect even the fact that there has been this surge of enthusiasm since he left and Kamala Harris took his place, that's got to be pretty tough, too. You got thrown out of a window and everybody's applauding the person who's now in the room.
It was, as I told you then, a winter of peril and possibility.
For unvaccinated, we are looking at a winter of severe illness and death for unvaccinated. For themselves, their families, and the hospitals they'll soon overwhelm.
Of peril and possibility. We're in the grip of a once-in-a-century pandemic.
We are looking at a winter of severe illness and death.
He called them suckers and losers. Who in the hell does he think he is? Who does he think he is?
I appointed Johnson to the academy. I just want you to know that. Just clap for that, you stupid bastard.
There's no words for a person. They're not the words of a person not worthy of being commander-in-chief.
One of the 2 female Marines who were killed among the 13.
Not then, not now, and not ever.
Clap for that, you stupid bastard.
And a broad coalition of Americans joined with me. 81 million voters voted for us. Quote, women are not without electoral or political power. No kidding.
History's watching us. Together, we must protect abortion rights. Together, we must protect the middle class. Together, we must protect the American dream. And together, we must elect Kamala Harris, President of the United States. Thank
Tim Walz shakes his wife's hand on stage. Well, Tim Walz. I mean, yeah. It's so funny to live in a society where you have to like deny obvious things. I look at Tim Walz and I'm like, oh, I know exactly who you are. Like instantly. I went to boarding school. I know who Tim Walz is.
You know his type.
Are you kidding? Oh, yes. Oh, I had a couple doormasters like Tim Walz for sure.
Well, he did
show up in your room late night drunk to talk about stuff. Yeah.
He did start the gay club at his high school.
Oh, I'm very aware of that. I mean, I remember. Oh, I could tell you stories. I look at Tim Walz and I'm like, I know exactly. You could have been the dorm master on my hall in 1984. Getting all the boys to let's go boxing Sunday morning. Here's our special athletic supporter that you have to wear. Does anyone else notice this about Tim Walz? I mean, is this?
I know Barack got tested for AIDS. There's no shame in being tested for AIDS. It's an important thing because the fact of the matter is in the community's engaged in denial. They're engaged in denial. No one wants to talk about it in the community, and we do not have enough leaders in the community and outside the community demanding we face the reality, confront the men in the community as well as the women, letting them know there are alternatives.
Thank you.
Travis, I just got to make clear, I got tested with Michelle. When we were in Kenya and Africa, so I don't want any confusion here about what's going on.
And I got tested to save my life because I had 13 pints of blood
with my wife.
And I'm sure Michelle appreciates you clarifying.
In public.
No, I would just do cocaine. That was really, yeah. So not just, yeah.
That's down and dirty, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it was, yeah.
But you don't anymore?
No, I don't do it anymore, man, and I'm not doing it.
Is it too much? Too much to handle?
Some of the stuff started to get a real rattle in it, too. I don't know where we were even getting it from in this country, but yeah, it started to make me feel like I was a mechanic or something.
So the thing you go back to then is alcohol for the most part.
Right, yeah, but what I want probably is cocaine, but I know that if I have a drink, then it'll be like, okay, well, I had a drink, then I can do this.
Is cocaine a stronger
oh, yeah.
up?
Yeah.
Cocaine so you're way up with cocaine more than anything else you can think of.
Cocaine will turn you into a damn owl, homie. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You'll be out on your own porch, and you'll be your own street lamp. You're freaking...
And is that a good feeling? Well,
no,
it's
horrible.
A miserable feeling.
But you do it anyway, just like the guy you're saying with the scotch. Like you
guys are just weird. That's who they are. That stuff is weird. They come across weird, and then they start being weird. Yeah, they're weird. That seems very weird to me that that an adult can go through 6.5 years of being in the public eye. If he has laughed, it's at someone, not with someone. That is weird behavior. These are weird people on the other side. We're not afraid of weird people.
Point it out. Whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, or none of the above, this is our time.
When you hear that, do you potentially think that this new numbers could be a liability for this campaign?
No. When I hear that, first of all, I don't believe it because I've never heard Donald Trump say anything truthful.
It is, though, from the Bureau of Labor.
I'm not familiar with that.
Some breaking news into CNN right now. The job growth has been far weaker in the U.S. than originally reported. That is according to new data just coming in this morning. Let's get right to CNN's Matt Egan. What's the headline, Matt?
During the period between April 2023 and March of this year, we were bracing for these revisions to come out and show that job growth was weaker, and that is what we got. This is probably on the high end of the expectations. We're seeing some of the biggest revisions downward in sectors that include manufacturing, leisure and hospitality, professional and business services.
I'm not familiar with that.
A big theme here at the DNC. They're going to go after corporate gouging. Let me reveal a reality to you that has to be spoken to here, okay? They need to charge people up. They need to be able to get them on board. But there's another reality that is literally looking down on them. Greg, look at the ring of sweets, okay? This is not unique to Democrats. There is a game of money. When people talk about uniparty, We are strangled by the money reality in our politics. Those suites start at 500 grand. Why do you think I'm on the floor? We don't have one of those boxes because that's the game. You pay to play. Those boxes are filled with the same people that they say they're going to regulate. They are literally looking down on the faithful and being told, yeah, we're going to break down on them. We're going to make them pay their share. They paid $500, $700, $1 million, $1.5 million to have those seats. They get hotel suites that are probably gifted to the party.
How did California get so much homelessness?
I mean, because of our own policies and neglect. We put up our feet and we rested on our laurels.
But they are doing so in trying to put forward male figures, Tim Walz being one of them, Doug Emhoff last night, who can speak to men out there who might not be the sort of testosterone-laden, gun-toting kind of guy who wants to listen to Hulk Hogan and the kind of players that came out at the RNC, or might want to listen to that, but also, in addition, understand that it's okay in 2024 to be a man comfortable in his own skin who supports a woman. And that's something that they really are trying to work on with male voters beyond the base.
Abby, we were talking.
It's come to my attention that there are some folks who struggle or pretend to struggle with the proper pronunciation of our future president's name.
Our leader, Kamala.
Disrespect.
And Kamala, I just came to say thank you. All of this enthusiasm and joy into action between now.
I've actually forgotten why they hate Trump so much.
Let's go.
There's loads of videos of me going, you can't have Donald Trump as president. It's ridiculous. He's insane. And then, when he said those things like you can't have, the drug dealers coming across the border, sex criminals. I was like, fucking hell, this guy's out of control, man. But, since, Biden began to emulate his border policies anyway, the much-mooted cages were there prior to his tenure. Sort of just started over time to recognise it was a kind of a hatchet job.
To defend truth, defend democracy and decency.
Again, vague, isn't it? That's Biden's election. Democracy, decency. Did you hear Mike Benz's analysis that democracy now doesn't mean electoral ballot or mandate? It means a set of institutions that have to be protected. It means the judiciary, the CIA, the deep state. So when when there's a war to defend democracy in Ukraine, when there is no elections and only one TV channel, we still call it a war for democracy.
Ironically, it's not about the demos at all. It's not about the people, it's about the institutions. It's not about the congregation, it's about the church building. Keep a roof on that. That's what matters. And to hell with the congregation. Not demos.
To defend truth, defend democracy and decency.
Much more happens at the DNC than what people see. Oh.
And I just can't believe this happened to me at the DNC.
Oh, I got
dig down at the DNC. Oh, dig down at the DNC. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for
so
having
much.
us.
Thank you guys.
It's been a real pleasure.
And she mentioned thank you about 50 times. Did you see the beginning? Thank you, 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 thank you. I said, what the hell is wrong with her?
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, please, thank you, please, thank you so very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Palace coup against President Biden. The same shadowy DNC operatives appointed his successor, also without an election. They installed a candidate who was so unpopular with voters that she dropped out in 2020 without winning a single delegate. My uncle and my father both relished debate. They prided themselves on their capacity to go toe-to-toe with any opponent in the battle over ideas.
They would be astonished to learn of a Democratic Party presidential nominee who, like Vice President Harris, has not appeared in a single interview or an unscripted encounter with voters for 35 days.
We've been listening to independent candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. from Phoenix outlining what led him to his quixotic quest for the White House.
And this is a tribute in honor of Bobby. I am announcing tonight that upon my election, I will establish a new independent presidential commission on assassination attempts. And they will be tasked with releasing all of the remaining documents pertaining to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. People ask me, please, sir, release the documents on the Kennedy assassination. And we're going to do that.
Who are the cuties in the Democratic Party that are speaking?
Oh, I don't know. Talk to anyone who lives in D.C. It's hard to find a cute Democrat.
Oh my God, shots fired.
No, that's the tea. Ask anyone who lives in D.C. and who works in Democratic politics. It's hard to find the cute ones.
The Republican guys are hotter.
Yeah, but they're evil. So, I don't know.
We kind of love evil. Oh my God.
I feel like
you are so bad.
Project 25, he believes in, I don't even know what the hell it is.
Y'all remember this big old book from before?
And this.
And let's talk about Project 2025.
Donald Trump's Project 2025.
On page 562, it says that Donald Trump could use an obscure law from the 1800s.
This is Project 2025, the Republican blueprint for a second Trump term.
Project 1825. I'm sorry.
Donald Trump's roadmap to ban abortion in all 50 states.
Project 1925. Oh, I'm sorry.
Of the Trump Project 2025.
Project 2025.
And the Project 2025 people.
Do you know about Project 2025?
This is Project 2025.
Trump plans to do Putin's bidding by abandoning Ukraine.
I don't even know what the hell it is.
She and my father didn't aspire to be wealthy. In fact, they were suspicious of folks who took more than they needed.
There's an intangible. It's different.
How are you feeling about the switch?
I mean, the switch. Now we went through a very open process and a very inclusive process. It was bottom up. I don't know if you know that. Yes, that's what I've been told to say.
Yes, it was a blitz primary, I believe
That's
is what
right.
they called it.
It's a very, very fast blitz. I think it was
a blink primary, so we call that.
A 30-minute convention.
Yeah.
Between a tweet and another tweet.
It's amazing how it happened.
Yeah, it's been amazing. But what is amazing is how unified everybody is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's next level.
So.
Following my first discussion with President Trump, I tried unsuccessfully to open similar discussions with Vice President Harris. Vice President Harris declined to meet or even to speak with me.
I don't know if those reports are true, but I would certainly welcome his endorsement. I mean, I grew up in a family. I was raised by my poor grandmother who didn't have a high school diploma, but
looks like we just lost Senator J.D. Vance there.
He's not a figurehead. He's an agent. He's your agent. He's America's lawyer. He's in the room there to represent his client, America. Your needs and your concerns. He's supposed to be an asshole. You know, he's not interested in impressing the other people in the room. I wanted an agent or a lawyer with that relentless energy that makes people upset. And the country needs that. We've had 4 years of perk-hungry elites who are there for the pomp and not for the people. So it's kind of, you have to look at this stuff as a necessity, that this guy is going to be that way in a room with people that have been screwing us over forever. Do you want him or do you want Kamala? Who do you want in that room? You want the guy that nobody likes because they don't like him for a reason.
They had a guy yelling, "Screw the billionaires," followed immediately by a very happy billionaire. It's all okay if it's our billionaire. I don't like billionaires, but he's all right. They had guys making fun of people for going to Yale, and a bunch of people who went to Yale. The Democrats had people who prosecuted sexual predators and... There goes that booking. It's a weird thing. He got 14 million votes and he's sitting on a beach angry as hell. And she got no votes and she's running. So you explain that to me.
If you're in the stock market, if you care about your paycheck, you go with Trump. That's what you do.
You do?
Yeah, well, he wants to cut your taxes.
Oh, he wants to cut taxes.
Your taxes.
There's no reason for her to go on your show before the election.
Yes, there is. Because I speak to the exact voter she needs, the person who is in the middle.
I think there's just all about winning the fucking election, all right? And then the easiest path to winning the election, look, you can talk about maybe she should have had more guts about this or that and the other, but we're the fucking president.
Right.
And Trump's not the president, and we're the fucking president, and now it's going to be about this. But this is about fucking winning. What most people don't give the Democrats enough credit for, all right, but we give the Republicans credit for. It's like, no, sometimes it's just about fucking winning. And it doesn't matter how we look at this moment. It's about fucking winning.
Right.
It's about fucking winning. It's a mad fucking dash, and she is running, and she's not stopping to stumble.
They didn't know what they were talking about. We know we're different from the president. We're very discreet, reptilian, cold-blooded. These are the races we have to win. Others are winning the whole country. 10.
But if you take a look at that ad, one thing that I found striking is if you look, and I think we have the images here, there are at least 3 points in that ad that show the border wall, Donald Trump's border wall. Is it now the position of the Democrats that they favor the border wall?
When we invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population, more of our children can breathe clean air and drink clean water.
President Trump is going to make a series of announcements about other Democrats who are joining his campaign, and you know, I want to make America healthy again, and so does President Trump. So those are objectives. You know, the Wall Street Journal may be worried about shareholder value for pharmaceutical companies, and I think, you know, I talked specifically to President Trump about that issue, and he said that he wanted to leave as his legacy healthy children, and that, you know, that that he was unconcerned about the other implications.
We're in the middle of a crisis caused by this pandemic that is a public health crisis. We're looking at over 220 million Americans who just in the last several months died. We are in the midst of a public health epidemic that has taken the lives of over 220 million Americans in just the last several months.
We're here at the inauguration. It's the most bizarre scene you ever saw in your life. There's like 100 people at the Biden inauguration. And it's dystopian. So there's nobody here. There's like more people up here with the press overlooking the Capitol than there are at the inauguration. We're here with Fox News and CNN, and this guy Eric is great from TBN. He's a Middle East correspondent. Really great coverage. You know, conservative. So again, it's freezing here. It's like 25 degrees. It's snowing. Kamala Harris and Amy Klobuchar just spoke. There are more people at the West Palm Beach airport waiting for Trump than there are here at the inauguration. Truly an incredible time in our history. You know, I've been to past inaugurations for W and Trump. You know, there were 500,000 to 1 million people at each event, and even Obama got close to probably 700,000 or something like that. It's eerie, you know. It's the first time Biden got thousands of people to his event, but they're all National Guardsmen who are forced to be here. There is no security threat down here. It's just a lie. And I think they brought in these 25,000 troops because Biden couldn't get enough people to his inauguration, and it's a cover. It's very sad. I was going to come on here and try to be funny, but I'm actually sad. This place is a ghost town. All of DC is a ghost town. Their business is pummeled by these lockdowns and all these problems. And, you know, the truth is going to come out.
President Trump, if he gets a second term, will sort of dial back, for lack of a better term, DEI programs that the Biden administration has put in forth. What do you think that would do to race relations in this country?
Dr. King of Bloody Sunday. Teach history, where we want to go and where we don't want to go in the future. And that means also acknowledging the importance of diversity, equal opportunity to compete, equity. And then, of course, inclusion, that, you know, hey, let's look around the room and see who's not here, and did we leave the door open?
And I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I said, I'm not going to, or we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, what, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired.
Good. Do you mind answering just a quick question why you came and what you like about Harris' platform?
Just very excited about moving forward and all the energy and excitement that's around this movement right now. So that's why I'm here, because it's time for change, and it seems like it's happening.
You think she'll be able to sustain the momentum post-convention?
For sure.
You think the race is going to be close?
It's going to be close, but everybody's motivated to work and make it happen. So, and she and Tim Walz are just incredible candidates. All right.
Thank you, Ben.
Okay, man. See you.
The country is counting on you. All of you. You are leaders. By the very fact that you all are here in this room, doing what you do at this incredible school, doing it as one big team, understanding all of the different parts
that fit together to create a team.
Bisogna dirlo con chiarezza. C'è chi opera sistematicamente e con ogni mezzo per respingere i migranti. Per respingere i migranti. E questo, quanto è fatto con coscienza e responsabilità, è un peccato grave. Il Signore è con i nostri migranti nel mare nostro. Il Signore è con loro, non con quelli che li respingono. In quei mari e in quei deserti mortali i migranti odiosi non dovrebbero esserci, e ce ne sono, purtroppo. Ma non è attraverso leggi più restrittivi, non è con la militarizzazione delle frontiere, non è con i respingimenti che otterranno questo risultato. Lo otterremo invece ampliando le vie di accesso sicure e le vie di accesso regolari per i migranti, facilitando.
It was a major event in the Republican Party when the U.S. Chamber of Commerce turned against Trump. While Democrats had the media, Hollywood, music and culture, unions, and to some extent finance, Republicans had the war industry, the energy industry, and the Chamber of Commerce. You know, these Chamber of Commerce companies preferred republicanism for its free market, free enterprise, and low tax structure. Trump sort of stepped on a rattlesnake, making America first, to the extent that it cut back on American interventionism. He was the first president in 40 years not to, declare a new war effectively. America first, in a world where those corporations are primarily multinational, means that nationalism is a threat to multinational corporate interests. And so multinational corporate interests will sponsor the State Department activity and use the battering ram of the CIA, the State Department, the Pentagon, and NATO to achieve those corporate interests.
Are you going to fire those generals? The woke generals at the top? Because people been talking
Yes, I would get rid of them, yeah. But see, now I know them. I didn't know them before. But, I came in. What do I know? I was a New York real estate person, but no, I'd fire them. I would fire them. You can't have woke military.
Never let anyone take your joy from you. I call myself a joyful warrior. Right? Never let anyone take your joy from you. You do what you gotta do. And isn't that a wonderful way to live? To know you have purpose.
Kamala Harris is a heavyweight. And look at how white folks are thinking right now. She's a heartbeat away from being the first black president. If he dies while in office, so white folks are upset.
USA, USA. So you can say it.
Dana, I think the most important and most significant aspect of my policy perspective and decisions is my values have not changed. You mentioned the Green New Deal. I have always believed, and I have worked on it, that the climate crisis is real, that it is an urgent matter to which we should apply metrics that include holding ourselves to deadlines around time. We did that with the Inflation Reduction Act. We have set goals for the United States of America and by extension the globe around when we should meet certain standards for reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, as an example. That value has not changed.
Democracy. January 6th. Trump. Democracy. January 6th. Trump. Democracy. January 6th. Trump.
And I will tell you, when we get this done together, my friend, and when I am president, I will take on the bad actors who exploit a crisis. Hold on. You know what? Here, hold on. Here's the thing. The courts are going to handle that. We're going to beat them in November. We're going to beat them in November. Okay? We'll beat them in November. We'll handle that. And you all helped us win in 2020, and we're going to do it again in 2024. Yes, we will.
At all.
all. But catch this, it's been since 1992 since a presidential candidate came to Savannah, which was Bill Clinton in the hostess city. Now, at the N-Market Arena itself, lines stretched around the venue, as I was just telling you, and people started getting here as early this morning for the vice president. But for those a little further away from the hostess city, shuttles to the rally contained a lot of excitement.
I was in Atlanta and I heard that the vice president was going to be in Savannah, so I decided to just kind of beeline over here and check it out.
You have been vice president for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
The steps that you're talking about now, why haven't you done them already?
Well, first of all, we had to recover as an economy, and we have done that. I'm very proud of the work that we have done that has brought inflation down to less than 3%.
You said that you carried weapons in war, but you have never deployed actually in a war zone. A campaign official said that you misspoke. Did you?
Well, first of all, I'm incredibly proud. I've done 24 years of wearing the uniform of this country. Equally proud of my service in a public school classroom, whether it's Congress or the governor. My record speaks for itself, but I think people are coming to get to know me. I speak like they do. I speak candidly. I wear my emotions on my sleeves, and I speak especially passionately about our children being shot in schools and around guns. So I think people know me. They know who I am. They know where my heart is. And again, my record has been out there for over 40 years to speak for itself.
And the idea that you said that you were in war, did you misspeak as the campaign has said?
Yeah, I said we were talking about, in this case, this was after a school shooting, the ideas of carrying these weapons of war. And my wife, the English teacher, told me my grammar's not always correct.
You get a lot of those questions from Minnesota, but you get a lot of those questions because Minnesota, I mean, they picked this guy. He is weird. Right? He's weird. I'm not weird. He's weird.
Donald Trump took the oath of office on January 20th, 2017. Do you know what happened the day before? One day before Donald Trump was sworn into office? The Atlanta Council, with 7 CIA directors and annual funding every year from the State Department, the Pentagon, and CIA cutouts like the National Endowment for Democracy, signed a formal deal with Burisma. Hunter Biden's Burisma signed a formal cooperation agreement with the Atlanta Council, this very entity that we are watching now to train how to kill social media support for Donald Trump. The largest private gas producer in Ukraine forges relationship with the new U.S. administration, the Atlanta Council of the United States, and Burisma, so that the Atlanta Council could lobby on Burisma's behalf. And NATO, the Pentagon, the State Department, the CIA could all, through the back channel of the Atlanta Council, promote the profit, development, and expansion of Burisma. This is where I come back to Hunter Biden and all the CIA and statecraft things that he was involved in, including being on the board of the NDI, which we are going to meet because they play a major role in this Telegram story. Burisma was an instrument of statecraft for the U.S. State Department in order to bankrupt Russia. That is why the Atlanta Council partnered with Burisma. But understand, they inked that deal the day before Trump was elected. And Trump threatened to ruin all of it.
She described to me seeing a level of desperation that she could not understand. I think that they all saw that. I know they all saw that. And that's what drove them to continue to do what they were doing for 10 days while our State Department clocked off at 5 o'clock. They're owed a debt of gratitude that I don't know that any of us can ever repay, but it can certainly be respected. The fact is that we invited the current administration to Arlington, and we never hear back from them. Every time we've had interaction with President Trump, it's at the invitation of both parties, and we don't get a response from one party. We just want our loved ones honored and respected, and we want this not to happen again. And to ignore these heroes that died cements that it's going to happen again. You have to problem solve and find out what went wrong and how to fix it. And President Trump is going to help us do that.
I'm a big fan of Elon. Elon gave me tremendous endorsement. It's good, isn't it? gonna have to send a rocket up to get those people out of there. That's crazy. You know, he's great. I said, when are you sending a rocket up? Well, you know, Elon is a very different kind of a guy. As he thinks, he talks. Whereas a lot of people, you know, they want the words to be perfect and all, and they think less and talk more, right? With Elon, it's like, well, you know, I'm doing a new stainless steel hub that can get us around the engines much quicker because there's a problem with the type of engine going into space nowadays. And I'm hearing the... but in the end, I think we can have a good hookup because of the new foils that are coming up. And I'm hearing everything that's going through his mind. But he is like, he's a super genius guy.
Did you ever think about running for office at other times in your lives? And then just some advice, because you come under fire a lot. Our moms are standing for things that often the media attacks them on. We'd love to get some advice from you about running for office.
Yeah, so I would say don't do it.
No, run for office. We want you to run for office.
I do say this, though. It is nastier to run as a Republican than it is. Now, I'm the ultimate, you know, I mean, they suffer from a thing called TDS. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
TDS, it's a horrible, horrible terminal disease. It destroys the mind. It destroys the mind before the body, but the body eventually goes. TDS is Trump derangement syndrome. They have it at levels. They can't even stand their life. They can't stand anything.
Here's what I'll say about Yale Law School. First of all, most of the people are more or less good people, right? They care about their families. They are not like stabbing you in the back. They're not like ripping pages out of library books so that other people don't get ahead. But I think they are caught up in a rat race that most of them don't realize the time is making them really miserable. And I wonder if they ever figure it out. Like, what elite culture does, what these elite institutions do, is they take some very smart people in our society, they filter them into a very small place, and they basically tell them to want the same things: clerkships, law firm jobs, consulting gigs, you know, nice cushy jobs at private equity firms. And they tell them that the only way they're going to be happy is to get those things. And so those people end up focusing on career and on credential at the expense of the things that actually make people happy. And so you have people at Yale Law School, you have women who think that truly the liberationist path is to spend 90 hours a week working in a cubicle at McKinsey instead of starting a family and having children. And I think that those people, in their defense, they genuinely believe that the path of liberation is to work 90 hours in a cubicle at McKinsey. What they don't realize, and I think some of them do eventually realize it, thank God, is that that is actually a path to misery. And the path to happiness and to fulfillment is something that these institutions are telling people not to do. And that's basically what I think the corruption is. The corruption is it puts people on a career pipeline that causes them to chase things that will make them miserable and unhappy. And so they get in positions of power, and then they project that misery and unhappiness on the rest of society.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking. I'm speaking. Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
Well, wait,
I'm speaking.
it'd be important if you said the truth.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking. I'm speaking. Okay. If you don't mind letting me finish, we can then have a conversation. Okay?
Please.
Okay.
Non-answer.
Trying to answer you
The
now.
American people deserve a straight answer.
I will not sit here and be lectured by the Vice President. I'm speaking. Yeah, I'm about to. I will not be lectured by the Vice President.
This is how you had tens of millions of dollars from the U.S. State Department funding the private sector pop-up censorship mercenary firms, funding the civil society institutions, the universities, the censorship activists, the NGOs, the nonprofits, the researchers, and also on the media side, and all these USAID-funded media outlets, all pushing for censorship. And there's an elegant structure to it. And it was so effective until Elon Musk essentially burst that bubble, and until they went a little bit too far with the Disinformation Governance Board. And finally, a certain faction within the Republican Party woke up and was able to exert some pressure through the House and Jim Jordan in November 2022.
His Twitter account should be suspended. I think there is plenty of now evidence to suggest that he is irresponsible with his words in a way that could result in harm to other people. And so the privilege of using those words in that way should probably be taken from him.
But doesn't that, I mean, play into certainly the hands of, you know, his, I don't know how many Twitter followers he has. I think it's in the range of 60 million who say, well, look, okay, now you know, the rich folks in Silicon Valley are just trying to silence me and taking me off Twitter.
If he's not going to exercise self-restraint, then perhaps there should be other mechanisms in place to make sure that his words do not, in fact, harm anyone. And that's my point. What we want to make sure is that his words do not actually result in harm to anyone.
The California lawmakers passed a law giving government assistance to undocumented immigrants to buy houses.
It's the American dream being available to more people. We are very blessed here with beautiful diversity.
So you'd vote for this law?
Excuse me?
So you'd vote for this law?
Well, I'm not familiar with exactly what it is, but making the American dream of home ownership available to all people.
This is undocumented. This is for the undocumented.
Well, what I would like to do is move them to documented. The fact that we can move them to documented. One of the best things that we can do for our economy is to pass comprehensive immigration reform.
Come forward.
It is morally indefensible. He didn't care. It was all about him. He's a military impersonator.
I don't understand how he could do it morally, or he's got absolutely no integrity.
The rumor went across the state that he had quit, and it was like, who the hell does that? I mean, it was just unbelievable that a CSM abandoned his troops, 500 soldiers basically, but beyond that, there's 1,000 parents out there that expect that person to lead those people into combat. He's a habitual liar. He lies about everything. He lies about stuff that doesn't make sense. You're taking a piece of their thunder and you're trying to capture it and put it in a bottle for yourself and use that for your own benefit. He basically said, I've got better things to do. You know, go pick somebody else to go on a mission. What if you sold out your guard unit and abandoned them? I mean, what are you going to do at the national level? Fear is a reaction. Bravery is a decision. And Walz has made the wrong decision. He's not brave. I call him a coward because he is.
They don't get to go to the beach on Labor Day. They don't get to have barbecues. This is their one chance to have a memory of their children, to commemorate their service and to honor their sacrifice. They wanted President Trump there. They wanted to take those photos. You know who the families also invited? Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Where were they? Joe Biden was sitting at a beach. Kamala Harris was sitting at her mansion in Washington, D.C. She was 4 miles away, 10 minutes. She could have gone to the cemetery and honored the sacrifice of those young men and women. But she hasn't. She never has spoken to them or taken a meeting with them.
Well, they did meet with them during the dignified transfer. They were with them at the dignified transfer.
Her and Joe Biden's incompetence that those 13 Americans were killed in Afghanistan.
But in the area of reparations for descendants of Africans enslaved. If you elected president, would you sign that bill if it came across your desk?
When I am elected president, I will sign that bill. Having done the work I've done, it is our undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit crime. So let's get our notions together about what we're talking about.
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad.
You better thank a union member for the 5-day work week. You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time. We have got to get a deal done. We were in Doha. We have to get a deal done. This war must end.
In the meantime,
and we must get a deal that is about getting the hostages out. I've met with the families of the American hostages. Let's get the hostages out. Let's get the ceasefire done.
but no change in policy in terms of arms and so forth.
No, we have to get a deal done. Dana, we have to get a deal done. When you look at the significance of this to the families, to the people who are living in that region, a deal is not only the right thing to do to end this war, but will unlock so much of what must happen next. You better thank a union member for the 5-day work week. You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time.
Somebody said, what's next? Child labor? Hell yeah, it's in there. That's what they've got in there. You see states doing that, putting our children at risk. That's what they'll do.
You can no longer be the manufacturing capital of the world. Where the hell is that written? We are the greatest manufacturing city, county in the world, state in the world, city in the world. We're going to remain that way. Eric Dean of the Iron Workers, Tim Driscoll of Bricklayers, April Bell of the SEIU, Lee Saunders of ASME, and a great friend. Where are you, Lee? And Jimmy Williams of the Painters Allied Trades and his dad. His dad is a really good man. Mike Coleman, a sheet metal worker. We also got some.
You can't say that you have one rule for Facebook and you have a different rule for Twitter.
I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
They are directly speaking to millions and millions of people without any level of oversight or regulation, and that has to stop.
If Churchill is a hero, how come there are British girls begging for drugs on the street of London? And the place is, it's just London is not majority English now. Like, what?
Well, the people who formulated the version of history that considers Churchill a hero, they like London the way it is now,
That's not my
Exactly. Wait, no, stop. Yes. No, stop. You can't. I was never gay.
Okay.
No, I was never gay.
Sure.
You can't just state something, snap your fingers, and then be like, I was never gay.
If you say so.